Well, because I sift it through, I don't put in stuff which isn't true and can't be checked. And also, I had some admiration for Meghan. She succeeded quite well in her life and her ambitions.
Tom Bauer spent months digging into moments involving the royal family the public never witnessed, and now he has uncovered shocking secrets about Meghan Markle. He exposed patterns at major events that tell a completely different story. What he discovered has everyone questioning everything they thought they knew about the Duchess. Are these the final pieces of a puzzle we've been missing? Let's find out. Queen Camilla's assessment. There was a private comment allegedly made by Queen Camilla concerning Meghan Markle shortly after she and Harry returned from their honeymoon in 2018. The couple had married at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle in May 2018, and their wedding was watched by millions around the world. The celebration appeared to mark a new beginning for the royal family. Many people believed Meghan would bring fresh energy to the monarchy. She was an American actress with her own successful career. The public saw her as someone who could modernize the institution. However, tensions between Prince William and Prince Harry escalated during that same period. Later on, a reconciliation meeting was arranged at Kensington Palace between the brothers and their wives. The atmosphere during this meeting was difficult from the start. The meeting took place in the recently redecorated apartment of the Cambridges, and both couples tried to address growing problems between them. The conversation became heated as different viewpoints clashed. Family members struggled to understand each other's positions. Unfortunately, old wounds ended up surfacing alongside new disagreements. The situation inside the palace walls grew more complex with each passing week. Prince William and Kate Middleton viewed Meghan as a threat rather than an ally. They were worried about her understanding of palace protocols and how she might change royal traditions. She had a very different approach to public duties. Harry and Meghan's departure from royal duties in January 2020 marked one of the most publicized ruptures in the monarchy's recent history. The decision shocked the nation and created worldwide headlines because nobody expected such a dramatic split. Queen Camilla allegedly told a friend that Meghan had brainwashed Harry. This private statement reflected deep concerns within the family. Harry was described as someone who emotionally veered towards extremes, where simple dislikes became passionate hatred. Those close to him noticed significant changes in his behavior. He became more critical of his own family. He withdrew from people he had known for years. He started questioning everything about his royal upbringing. Friends found it difficult to recognize the person he was becoming. The royal family watched these transformations with growing alarm. Harry had always been known as the fun-loving prince. He was popular with the public and comfortable in his role. He enjoyed military service and championed veteran causes. He seemed content with his position in the family structure, but Camilla's claim pointed to the sudden change in him. The allegations remain controversial and disputed by supporters of the couple. Critics argue that these stories come from biased sources. What they believed was that Harry might be making his own choices. The word brainwashing carries serious implications about someone's mental state. It suggests manipulation and loss of independent thought. It also implies control by another person over important decisions. To some family members, something had shifted. They felt Harry was no longer acting like himself, and that outside influence had changed his core values. The comment was allegedly made when relations between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family had reached a critical point. Communication between both sides had broken down almost completely. Trust had eroded on multiple levels. The couple officially split from the royal family on February 19, 2021, having moved to the United States in January 2020. What followed was their bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey, where the couple discussed their reasons for stepping back as senior royals. During that interview, shocking allegations came to light. The couple spoke about racism within the institution, mental health struggles, and lack of support, and the feeling of being trapped by the system. Millions watched as private family matters became public knowledge. The interview created an international crisis for the monarchy. Public opinion divided sharply between supporters of each side. Some believed Harry and Meghan deserved sympathy and understanding, while others believed they had betrayed the institution unfairly. The palace struggled to respond appropriately to the accusations. Every statement they made received intense scrutiny. Even worse, the damage to relationships appeared permanent and irreparable. Royal observers noted that healing such deep wounds would take years. Queen Camilla's alleged comment reflected the perspective from inside the palace. Senior royals struggled to comprehend what was happening. They could not understand why Harry would abandon his duties. They questioned whether he truly wanted this dramatic change or someone else was driving these decisions. However, a spokesperson for Harry and Meghan responded to the book's allegations by saying that Bowers' commentary has long crossed the line from criticism into fixation. The couple denied they were being controlled or manipulated. Harry himself insisted that he was making informed, independent choices. The fundamental question remains difficult to answer definitively. Did Harry change because of new perspectives Meghan shared, or did she simply support choices he wanted to make anyway? Royal families have complex dynamics that outsiders struggle to understand. Marriage often changes people's priorities and viewpoints, as partners naturally influence each other's thinking over time. The truth likely sits somewhere between the extreme positions. What appears certain is that relationships fractured badly during this period, and the outcome continues to affect everyone involved. Meghan's self-focused speech. Meghan Markle delivered a keynote address at the opening ceremony of the One Young World Summit in September 2022. She had maintained a close connection with the organization since 2014, and this appearance marked an important moment for several reasons. The speech represented Meghan's first public address in the United Kingdom since stepping down from royal duties 2 years earlier. She and her family had moved to Santa Barbara in 2020, so many people wondered how she would be received on British soil. The One Young World Summit brings together thousands of young leaders from over 190 countries to explore global topics including conflict prevention, gender equality, health, oceans, and ethical leadership. The platform exists to empower young people to create positive change, and speakers typically focus on inspiring the next generation. They discuss challenges facing the world today while encouraging young leaders to take action on important issues. But the emphasis remains on the audience and their potential. According to Tom Bowers' account, Meghan had been invited to speak about ethical leadership, with a planned focus on the need for transparency, honesty, and integrity among the leaders of tomorrow. This theme aligned perfectly with the summit's overall mission. Organizers expected her to address these important principles. They hoped she would share insights about maintaining ethical standards. And because young leaders needed guidance on navigating moral challenges, the topic offered rich opportunities for meaningful discussion. Event planners had clear expectations about the speech content. They believed Meghan's experience would provide valuable perspectives on these subjects. However, Bauer claims that to the anger of organizer Ella Robertson, Meghan abandoned the build theme. Instead, her speech praised One Young World for seeing in her what she wanted to see fully in herself. Over the next 10 minutes, she spoke exclusively about herself and her rise to fame. The address traced her journey from an unknown actress to a global figure, entering heavily on her own experiences. At the end, the audience clapped politely. Critics claimed Meghan allegedly made 54 references to herself during the 7-minute speech. They noticed the repeated focus on her own story. One unnamed source even described the speech as making no sense and being all about her while relating everything to herself. The source claimed they did not think she knew what she was talking about and criticized it as just me, and praising herself. Royal commentators analyzed the address with skeptical eyes, questioning whether the content served the audience effectively. They wondered if she understood the event's purpose. Royal expert Phil Dampier offered his assessment of the performance. He suggested the Duchess wanted to sound sincere, but there was a severe lack of content in what she was saying. Dampier claimed Meghan was using her acting skills when she commented on being back in the United Kingdom. These criticisms painted a picture of someone disconnected from expectations. The analysis showed style over substance filled the presentation. Observers felt the speech missed important opportunities. The mismatch between promised content and actual delivery disappointed many. The contrast between expectation and reality created awkwardness for organizers. They had promoted ethical leadership as the central theme. Attendees came expecting insights on transparency and integrity. Instead, they received a personal narrative about fame. Some wondered whether Meghan grasped what the audience needed, and others suggested she had chosen her own message deliberately. The decision reflected ongoing patterns in her public appearances, showing how personal storytelling had become her preferred communication style. During the same Manchester event, Meghan discussed her experience leaving the United Kingdom and mentioned that, despite things she had been open about regarding her time there, she had kept a lot to herself. She noted it was interesting that she had never signed anything restricting her from talking. She said she could talk about her whole experience but made a choice not to because she was still healing from the experience. These comments suggested future revelations might eventually come, a hint at untold stories waiting to emerge. Meghan also spoke about forgiveness being really important and how it takes a lot more energy to not forgive, though it also takes a lot of effort to forgive. She said she had made an active effort at forgiveness, especially knowing she could say anything. These philosophical observations circled back to her own situation. Even when discussing universal concepts like forgiveness, the application remained personal. Young leaders heard about her struggles rather than broader principles. The pattern reinforced criticism about excessive self-focus. The incident highlighted ongoing tensions around Meghan's public role. Supporters defended her right to share personal experiences. They argued authenticity requires talking about real challenges, that her story could inspire others facing difficulties. Still, critics maintain that speaking engagements carry responsibilities beyond self-expression. They expected public figures to deliver what audiences need. As different groups hold sharply contrasting views on her effectiveness, the Manchester speech remains a reference point in these discussions. The Invictus Games controversies. The Invictus Games, Vancouver Whistler 2025, took place from February 8 through 16. This marked the 7th Invictus Games and represented the historic debut of winter sports at the event. The games were held across 2 sites, with Vancouver hosting 6 adaptive sports and the opening and closing ceremonies, while Whistler introduced 5 winter sports to the Invictus community. A total of 23 nations and 534 competitors participated in the games. Prince Harry founded the Invictus Games back in 2014. The international sporting competition serves wounded, injured, and sick service members. It celebrates courage, resilience, and the strength of human spirit. The event means everything to Harry personally. The opening ceremony at BC Place Stadium was sold out with more than 40,000 attendees, setting the record for the highest attendance ever at an Invictus Games. The evening featured powerful performances from world-class artists, including Chris Martin, Katy Perry, Noah Kahan, Nelly Furtado, and Roxane Bruneau. Prince Harry delivered a speech celebrating the resilience of competitors. The ceremony created genuine excitement and energy. Athletes felt honored and supported by the massive crowd. The scale impressed everyone involved with the planning. However, Tom Bauer's book painted a different picture of certain moments. Bauer claims that only 43 paying spectators attended, and that about 100 people were brought in by organizers and corralled around Prince Harry and Meghan for photos. This allegation created immediate controversy and backlash. Representatives for Prince Harry criticized the claims, saying the book misrepresents the purpose of the Invictus Games and perpetuates misunderstanding about invisible injuries such as PTSD. The dispute highlighted Bauer's disagreement about the games' purpose and success. Bauer also describes a match in which an 8-man Nigerian team was roundly defeated by what he characterized as a group of professionally trained Americans. According to his account, 2 members of the Nigerian side had lost a leg, while the American players were said to be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Bauer claims that after the game, the American team wheeled themselves into a private area, then stood up and walked away, saying none appeared to have visible physical injuries. This claim sparked outrage from disability advocates and veterans groups. The Invictus Games were founded by Harry specifically to support wounded, injured, and sick service personnel, including those with psychological trauma. Mental health injuries deserve equal recognition as physical wounds. Many veterans suffer invisible conditions that devastate their lives. Post-traumatic stress disorder can be completely debilitating, and traumatic brain injuries cause lasting cognitive difficulties. Depression and anxiety affect functioning significantly. Many of these conditions often have no visible markers. Someone can appear physically healthy while battling severe challenges. The games intentionally include athletes with various injury types. That is why Bauer's statement was frowned at. It questioned the legitimacy of certain competitors' participation, suggesting that some athletes were not genuinely disabled. The author's research method has been described as finding the victims. Critics argue this approach creates biased narratives, but supporters believe it uncovers important truths. A spokesperson for the Invictus Games Foundation expressed disappointment that the Times gave prominence to commentary that appears driven by a long-established agenda rather than a genuine understanding of the Invictus Games and the pre-CU community it supports. The foundation strongly defended its mission and participants, emphasizing that invisible injuries carry equal weight. They rejected suggestions that psychological trauma matters less, accusing Bauer of deliberately misunderstanding what the event is about. The controversy raised larger questions about media coverage of the games. Some observers believed excessive attention fell on Harry and Meghan. According to the book, two unnamed former executives behind the games became concerned that too much of the media's attention was falling on Meghan and not enough on the competitors. This tension has followed the couple to various events. Their celebrity status naturally attracts cameras and reporters, and media organizations prioritize royal content over veteran stories. This dynamic frustrates people who want athletes highlighted. The balance between promotion and distraction remains difficult. Harry's involvement brings valuable visibility to the cause. His royal status helps secure funding and sponsors. Major corporations want association with his brand, and media coverage increases when he attends events. This attention benefits fundraising efforts significantly. However, it also shifts focus away from participants. Athletes sometimes feel like background extras. Their stories get overshadowed by royal drama. As a result, event organizers walk a fine line constantly. They need Harry's star power while protecting athlete dignity. Most participants praised the organization and experience. They felt honored by the support received. However, the conflicting narratives about attendance and atmosphere highlight polarized views. The truth likely contains elements of each perspective. Some events probably drew smaller crowds than hoped. Other moments genuinely inspired large audiences. The Games succeeded in many important ways while facing real challenges, but honest assessment requires acknowledging both aspects. Professional setbacks and brand decline. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's lucrative Netflix deal is set to expire in 2025. This looming deadline creates enormous pressure for the couple. Although their Netflix deal is expected to wrap up with at least one new project, royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams noted the high stakes involved. When Meghan carved 2025 into the sand in her Instagram video, she knew high noon was coming, as their contract runs out this year. The symbolism captured their situation perfectly. Everything depends on what happens next professionally. The Sussexes have faced a string of notable setbacks in recent months. These include the cancellation of Meghan's Spotify podcast Archetypes due to reported lack of impactful content. The podcast deal had been announced with great anticipation, as industry observers expected it would generate significant revenue. Sadly, the termination of their Spotify deal occurred in 2023. The split created embarrassing headlines around the world, and media coverage portrayed it as a major failure. The couple's ability to deliver commercially successful content faced serious questions. Their Netflix documentary, Heart of Invictus, centered on Prince Harry's Invictus Games, failed to generate expected buzz despite their multi-million-dollar deal. The streaming platform invested heavily in the project. Expectations ran high for viewership numbers. Another Netflix venture, the Polo docuseries, disappointed audiences when the couple only appeared briefly toward the end. Viewers wanted more Harry and Meghan content. Instead, they received extensive footage of polo players. Social media criticism mounted quickly after release. The Wall Street Journal reported that Harry and Meghan's $100 million Netflix deal has led to more cancellations and rejections than produced shows. Sources told the outlet that the streaming giant is unlikely to renew the deal when it ends in 2025. An animated children's series called Pearl that the couple hoped to make for Netflix was ultimately canceled. At least two other television ideas the duo proposed failed to be greenlit by the company. The rejection pattern painted a troubling picture. Creative executives were not convinced by their pitches. Live to Lead, Harry and Meghan's second project for Netflix, following their eponymous documentary, failed to break into the streaming platform's top 10 chart. This performance disappointed everyone involved with production. Netflix tracks viewership data carefully because the algorithm determines which content gets promoted. shows that fail to chart struggle to find audiences. Lack of visibility means fewer people discover the programming. The business model depends on generating subscriber engagement, so projects that underperform face consequences in future negotiations. By March 2025, it became clear that Netflix and Arkawell had changed direction, with scripted projects failing to materialize. The production company, founded by the Sussexes, struggled creatively. Prince Harry was not nearly as visible in projects after the debut of Polo, a 5-episode unscripted series about his friend and athlete Nacho Figueras. It was time to test Meghan's mettle as an entrepreneur and a solo star. After this, the couple began pursuing separate professional paths. This strategy aimed to reduce perceived toxicity around their joint brand. Recent setbacks and public criticism of their royal commentaries prompted a re-evaluation of their approach. PR expert Ed Coram James noted that since their marriage, Harry and Meghan have had a distinct brand synonymous with one another. The tight association created both benefits and problems. Their combined star power attracted attention initially. However, controversy surrounding one affected the other automatically. But separation allows independent reputation management. Each can pursue interests without dragging the partner down. In response, both have pursued solo engagements, with Harry active with the Invictus Games, attending events in Vancouver without Meghan. This represented a departure from her usual presence. Royal commentator Jenny Bond stated that 2025 for the Sussexes was likely all about whether Netflix extends their contract. The success or otherwise of Meghan's show could dictate the future. Everything rides on upcoming project performance. A hit cooking or lifestyle show might secure renewal. Another failure could end their streaming career entirely. The year 2024 was perhaps the quietest of their relationship after a roller coaster. 7 years dominated by wars with the media, royal bombshells, marriage, children, and relocation to the United States. The main highlights were 2 faux royal tours of Nigeria and Colombia. These trips generated mixed reactions from observers. Some praised their continued diplomatic engagement, while others criticized them for acting like working royals. Because the tours lacked official government backing or endorsement, questions arose about proper protocols and authority. Meghan's American Riviera Orchard lifestyle brand has encountered its own challenges. Celebrity friends posted about receiving jam samples. The brand is expected to debut after a soft launch in March 2024, when she sent samples to A-list friends, prompting Instagram posts from stars like Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. However, converting celebrity endorsements into actual sales requires more. Product development, manufacturing, distribution, all present obstacles. Competition in the lifestyle space is fierce. Meghan needs to differentiate her offerings significantly. Tom Bauer evaluates the dramatic decline of the Sussex brand since his previous book Revenge was released. He explains why the next few months are critical for Harry and Meghan as they face professional setbacks and public rejection. Their cultural influence has diminished noticeably. Public opinion polls show declining favorability ratings. Media coverage turns increasingly negative. Industry insiders question their commercial viability. The golden couple narrative has collapsed completely. Their American dream faces serious jeopardy, and recovery requires dramatic successes soon. Charity leadership tensions. Prince Harry co-founded Centebail in 2006 with Prince Seeiso of Lesotho. Harry spent his gap year in Lesotho in 2004, which inspired the charity's creation. Centebail means forget-me-not in Sesotho, the official language of Lesotho. Harry has said the charity is a tribute to his late mother Diana, whose favorite flower was the forget-me-not, and who was one of the early pioneers to destigmatize HIV and AIDS. The organization represented one of his most personal commitments. It connected to his mother's legacy directly. The work meant everything to him emotionally. The charity initially focused on addressing the impact of HIV and AIDS on the lives of children and young people in Lesotho and Botswana. Over nearly 2 decades, Centebail helped thousands of vulnerable youth. Programs provided health services, education, and emotional support. The organization built facilities and trained local staff. Impact measurements showed genuine progress in communities. Harry visited regularly to maintain personal connections. He participated in fundraising events, including polo matches. The charity defined a significant part of his adult identity. In April 2014, Centabale signaled its evolution to one addressing issues of youth health, wealth, and climate resilience in Southern Africa. This strategic shift expanded the mission beyond HIV. Board members believed broader focus would increase impact. They wanted to address interconnected challenges facing young people. Climate change threatened agricultural livelihoods in the region. Economic opportunities remained limited for many communities. Health issues extended beyond a single disease. The transformation aimed to create comprehensive support systems. However, this evolution created internal tensions and disagreements. According to Bauer's account, conversations between Harry and Chair Dr. Sophie Chandauka became confrontational. Chandauka allegedly told Harry that people don't want to be associated with Netflix shows and especially not with Meghan. This blunt feedback must have stung badly. She reportedly said they need American corporates who want to be associated with the mission, not Harry personally, and that they don't want victimhood. Harry apparently replied that Johnny Depp was still a box office star, despite his battles with Amber Heard. This comparison revealed his thinking about public image. He believed celebrities could survive scandal and controversy. The analogy suggested he underestimated reputation damage. Chandauka clearly disagreed with this assessment completely, seeing his association as liability rather than asset. Potential corporate donors were reportedly avoiding the charity. The Meghan issue created particular problems with funders, as American companies worried about brand alignment risks. Bauer claims that by this time, 2 directors based in London were earning large salaries, plus many extras. Financial management became another point of friction. After visiting the charity for the first time in 4 years in October 2024, Harry tried to regain control of Centabale by firing Chandauka. Yet, the attempted dismissal failed completely. In March 2025, Harry resigned from Centabale along with co-founder Prince Seeiso and the board of trustees. The public rupture shocked supporters of the organization. Harry and Seeiso issued a joint statement, saying they resigned with heavy hearts from their roles as patrons until further notice, in support of and solidarity with the board of trustees who had to do the same. The statement mentioned they founded Centabale nearly 20 years ago in honor of their mothers. The emotional weight of this decision cannot be overstated. Walking away from his mother's legacy devastated Harry personally. The charity represented his most meaningful philanthropic work. He had invested tremendous time and energy over decades. His identity intertwined with this cause deeply. Dr. Sophie Chandauka made serious allegations following the resignations. She accused Harry of harassment and bullying. Her statement described herself as a woman who dared to blow the whistle about issues of poor governance, weak executive management, misuse of power, bullying, harassment, misogyny, and misogynoir. She stated she is an African who has had the privilege of world-class education and career, will not be intimidated, must stand for something, and stands for other women who do not have the ways and means. These accusations created enormous controversy and media attention. A source close to the former trustees and patrons described Chandauka's accusations as a publicity stunt. Supporters of Harry rejected the characterizations completely. They argued she was distorting legitimate disagreements. They claimed the accusations served personal agenda rather than truth. The dispute became increasingly bitter and public, and each accusation carried serious implications for everyone involved. Centabale confirmed restructuring its board on March 25, 2025, to introduce experts with capabilities and networks to accelerate the transformation agenda. The dispute may have related at least in part to Chandauka's drive to relocate leadership closer to the communities served in Southern Africa. This structural change made operational sense logically. Having senior staff based in Africa improved program oversight, reducing costs associated with international travel. However, the transition threatened existing power structures. The charity announced in December 2024 that Carmel Gaillard would serve as interim executive director based in Johannesburg. This followed Centabale's confirmation of its strategy to redeploy senior roles to be proximate to most of the team and programs in Southern Africa. The practical changes proceeded despite leadership chaos. In a statement, Centabale reiterated that while trustees are key for governance and regulation, it's the people in the field who are advancing the work. The situation illustrated broader challenges Harry faces with institutions. His royal upbringing didn't prepare him well. Palace life involved deference and accommodation always. People agreed with him regardless of merit. Staff carried out his wishes without serious question. Moving to civilian organizations brought different dynamics, and Harry struggled adapting to these new power structures. His attempts to assert control backfired dramatically. The Centennial collapse damaged his reputation significantly, raising questions about his leadership capabilities overall. What are your thoughts on the controversies surrounding Meghan and Harry? Let us know your views in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.